So yeah, guys, this version definitely speaks for itself a little bit. I don't need to talk too much about the obvious stuff. I definitely feel like this is probably the strongest version, or the most explosive version at least. I definitely feel like Pure is my favorite version of play, but I definitely enjoy all the variations inside of Dracotail. And with that out of the way, we're just going to jump straight into it. This card is stupid, but we're about to get into it. I definitely feel like starting off with this deck, you also got to talk about the triple Lucius that I feel like should be in almost every version. Stop trying to be cute with stuff. This card is Stratos. Don't get cute with a card that's Stratos. I definitely feel like Femina also speaks for itself as well. Femina is going to eventually get limited to one. It's a very, very ignorant card that really is, I forget what the card is named in tier. Havness, I guess. It's even better Havness. It's eventually going to get limited like Havness. And I'll still be playing Femina well after it gets limited to one. It just is what it is with that. I definitely feel like the variations of the deck also kind of depend on where you want to take the deck. I do feel like you should be playing multiple pans at this point. Playing only one isn't correct, and I feel like playing three isn't correct either. I feel like two is just the sweet spot. That's for me. I definitely can understand where people want to play three because it is going to keep letting you float as well as keep removing cards from the board. So I definitely understand that. But I'm playing two, and two has not let me down yet. I also have been filling in the numbers with one Urgula as well as one Frixel. And then for the remainder of the three ofs, I'm playing three Malulu still. I definitely can understand two right here. And you can kind of mess around with the ratio a little tad bit here, maybe add here, cut from there. It's up to you. It depends. But this has been the ratio that's been working the best for me because I always wanted to be able to fuse. And with that being said and always wanting to be able to fuse, I'm still playing Cartesia. Now, Cartesia definitely gets in the way, obviously, of the Frixel, which I feel like is also really, really good, and your light target inside of this version. So if you're not feeling the Cartesia, which it can still do a whole lot of work, and it can run up on people along with Falling on Albaz, which I'll get to in a second. Okay, 1,000. I definitely feel like you have to take into account that Albaz and Cartesia being able to run up on people can help you OTK people more. It's just how I've been kind of mapping out how I've been playing the games, keeping the ratio really, really simple and getting straight to the point because you don't need to do a whole lot extra. You activate Branded Fusion, and then you slap some more fusions down, and then you hope you don't get barriered, which you won't anymore, and you go from there. Really, really strong, and even dumber now the barrier's gotten smacked like it did, and even inside of the Genesis format, it's also smacked. So, I mean, if you want to enjoy this deck, have at it because it's really, really fun to play in any format. Albaz obviously is a board breaker when you're going second, but I definitely recommend playing the Cartesia still. It's just my opinion, but it obviously can be cut for one of these. It's really up to you. That's all for the basic ratio stuff. I definitely feel like going after that, you want to play the essentials and the hand traps that I feel like are the most essential. I feel like Bell is necessary just because of the top meta matchups that you have to deal with, prayers and all the yummy stuff that you got to deal with, and being able to control all the combo decks with the nibs, whether you're going first or second. Most of the time you want to see these when you're going first. Not so much when you're going second, but still it'll help push a Femina through. I definitely feel like you still got to play Fualos, although things are slowly changing and Meowth is getting better. Shout out to that reprint that's coming up soon. And then obviously Ash Blossom is still Ash Blossom. And I'm playing the Mag right here in this spot. So again, this could be another card or this could be in your side. But Mag is just a really, really solid card right now. And helps you in some random matchups. Not playing any more Bestials. Just want to kind of basically stick with those because you don't need to get too cute when you can just go straight for it. Really, really like almost all of these monster cards in my deck. But that's all the monsters that I'm playing. I'm playing a few more spells than usual. Spells and traps than usual, but I definitely understand people not feeling that. In this version, though, I'm trying to activate one of these and win the game. And with Barrier being gone, I feel like this is now the best version because it's just another body that's about to get slapped onto the board. And that's going to help you slap more onto the board. So Called by the Grave, while it is most definitely really, really strong and a very, very strong side deck card for this deck, Called by the Grave should be banned or at 3 or something. Because I feel like, why would I want to see this card less when this card can dominate certain matchups, especially with decks that tag on and off the field, or you're playing the mirror and they have their own 5 minute. You just called by seeing it more. It's just my opinion. I want to see it more. I want to main it. That's just me. And it can be a trap card, but that's totally up to you. Speaking of the trap cards, I'm playing all three in my main. If I do kind of cut one out, it's usually Horn. But even Horn, I found is very, very key. And I really like absolutely scraping certain yummy matchups and certain other like really, really dumb rogue matchups that always can just be a pain in the ass to Dracotail. But Flame is the one that you have to play at all times. And I feel like Sting is just, it speaks for itself. And I can't wait for a hollow version of that. And I need to get the hollow versions of that already. I'm lagging way, way behind. As far as the side, it's going to kind of differ to whatever in the world that you're playing. I just kind of been messing around with stuff that's been working for me, whether that be the Drolls. Drolls no longer in the main, just because it's too many people to see it coming. There's too many people that have the lines around it. And while you don't want to sit there all day in some of these matchups, seeing Droll too much is really, really detrimental, and you just want to see it less. So I've been slipping it to the side. May change eventually, but it kind of is what it is with that. As far as going second, though, I definitely have been dependent on Pankratops and Evenly the most, simply because this dominates the mirror, dominates really, really ignorant matchups that you don't want to fight through all their back row, and this can just give you a win button. And people just aren't playing the answer to Evenly still. And with that being said, the Pankratops also isn't getting answered very well. A lot of times, like the Arclight board, it's just special pressure. It's already pressure, like special. It's pressure already. Very, very ignorant. And there's been a few times where like you can end up with like some of these cards and you're just playing some weird simplified game that it just becomes a really, really easy game with cards like these. And that's usually why all those fit right into my side. And then what also fits into my side, and I'm still working on it a little bit. We all know how good this card is now. It definitely is going to replace Barrier for decks like this that Fusion summon. But just in case you don't know what it does, I'll kind of zoom in on it for you. It says if you control a face-up monster that was Tribute, Ritual, or Fusion summoned. So if you're playing a deck that tributes, that Ritual summons, or that Fusion summons, it's a 2-turn D barrier. And stuff gets negated. I'm just saying. I feel like Meows right now is slightly better than Perulia, but I haven't seen Meows in the secret version. I can't wait for the reprint because I haven't seen Meows in a minute. Now Meows is a pain in the butt to get. Like this used to be a pain in the butt, but this card still gets the job done, and there's still enough rogue around my city, Kansas City. Shout out to the regional that's coming up soon. That I feel like these are just doing their job also really, really well. So I really feel like there's a lot to be able to fix inside of the side, and it really is going to shift inside of whatever matchup it is. But I feel like having these 15, it really just is going to help you handle whatever the situation is. As far as the extra deck, I feel like this card's going to get banned at some point. This card is insane. I'm not a branded player, so I played it a couple weeks ago and I'm like, this is the stupidest card I've ever seen. Now inside of this deck, obviously, you guys have already seen it. I don't feel like I'm exposing anything that you haven't seen, but if you summon this on their turn, you can actually summon this onto their side and then they're locked in dragons. That really actually matters in a simplified game where you've summoned this and went into your hieratic spheres, your heavenly spheres. I'm just saying, guys, it comes up, and it comes up a lot. It'll shock you how much it comes up, where it can almost come up every single game where you don't get interrupted, really, and you can go into spheres. If you went into this earlier and you could get into this with the brand, it's not hard, and it gets straight to it. As far as the other links, they all speak for themselves. The cross sheet really can help you as far as pushing more into the board. Maybe you have a nib on your side of the field, or you just have lingering monsters kind of sitting there and you want to be able to reset with a starter or special summon like a Lucius, remember the starter, or anything, a Malulu as well, anything really that you can kind of float and start all over with. That's where the cross sheet actually absolutely comes into play. You don't need access code and all that. You can just start all over with the cross sheet and it can do its job wonderfully. I promise you it's very, very good. Little Knight also handles the unique matchups that it has to, and obviously you guys know about the FDK that is hieratic. Everything else is self-explanatory. Mirror Jade, Albion, Lubellion, the three big homies, because they all speak for themselves, and then the fill-ins. I feel like there's a little bit more that could be tweaked, maybe upping the ratio, fixing the ratio here or there. I wasn't feeling Titaniclad. It wasn't coming up enough, but it was doing a decent job. There's a lot to kind of fix with this deck and adjust with this deck, and you may like a ratio of this card maybe over this card, but this deck is really, really dumb. I hope you guys are enjoying this deck. And I really hope you enjoy it after they absolutely destroy Barrier, which they have just did if you're tuning in this video now. And with that being said, happy dueling. And I'm out. Arrivederci.